Hello, everybody, boys and girls, and children of all ages. It is that time again. It is time to return to Scotland one more time to discuss the goings on and the happenings of a legendary journey. And there's a lot of ground to cover. So I hope you all got your snacks and your beverages and you're bringing your friends, because it's going to be a long, long conversation. Where to begin? Let's see. Let's start. Yep, there we go. Hi, everybody. It's me. Right here? Yeah. All right. So, Vinny the Fat Man, nice to see you. There might be some computer delay in the sound. I don't know. Ever since the OBS update, things have been a little wonky. But we're gonna struggle on one thing at a time. One more time. Yes. All right. So we got Brother Scottish. He's gonna keep me straight on the conversation because I tend to drift in and out, and I tend to forget small details as time goes on. So, where we're at in the story is that we're back in Perth. No one asked you. I'm busy. We're back in Perth. And we had spent the day out. We've come back. We were going to stream that night. Could you close that door, please? We were gonna stream that night because I had a bunch of gifts I was gonna give Scottish, and I was gonna give it to him live on stream. But he was exhausted, I was exhausted, and to be perfectly honest with you, I wanted to drink. So I went down to the hotel bar. It was basically just in the lobby, but it was adjacent. And I went down there and had me a couple of drinks. And, I didn't have to stay in the area. I could go back up to my room. Scotland has the wildest hotels in the world. It basically is a great big mansion with different, the rooms that were made for people to have different things were all made into hotel rooms. And it was a fantastic experience for me. But, so Scottish goes to bed. I go get some alcohol. He had given me a couple of boxes of like three or four different whiskeys in a package for me to sample while I was on the road. And so I had the two drinks downstairs, and I started drinking the stuff that he gave me. And I got wasted in Scotland on scotch. So it's one of my achievements that I unlocked. And until you yourself out there in TV land, until you have been drunk on scotch in Scotland, don't talk to me. All right, I rule the world. That's the way this works. So anyhow, I wasn't mad about getting drunk in Scotland. I was actually later laughing because I'm going, I got drunk on scotch in Scotland. I did. I laughed all night long about that. So I get up the next day, and we get the gear together, and I'm not wearing all the stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna go sit down and have breakfast with Scottish, and I'm not wearing the stuff. I'm gonna go down there as a human. And I took the stuff I was gonna give him, and I went down to breakfast. And he's in like go mode. He's like, let's get this over with so we can get on the road. We got things to do. He's excited for the journey, right? And you could tell he's excited. So I come down come down the stairs with him, and I bring him this bag of goodies. It's literally a Crown Royal bag of goodies, and it contained therein one of the obviously the legendary original poker chips of the VIP, the $1 Million Mobster's very first poker chip. I got him the poker chip with the Mothman on the keychain. Alright, so there's that one. And I got him the other, which is the $1 Million Mobster from the era of from the era of the Syndicate. So here we are with this one. And that's the picture you see there. Hey, Marky. Marky's got one of those. Yeah. And then an autographed $100 bill that I got. I gave him on the spot there. One of the $1 Million Mobsters $100 bills. Autographed that. My collection of trading cards from my earlier days where I was heavy. And then Mini Vinny got him 2 pictures he hand drew and autographed. The one of Scotland we put on the wall here for a while, and then another one that he did just specifically for Scottish for this trip. Then God, there was a whole bunch of stuff in that bag. I wanted to get him some personal items because, I mean, I can autograph crap all day. It has to mean something, right? So one of those things was a pair of elbow pads, knee pads, whatever you want to call it. They were Under Armour, and we designed them to change the U into a V. And I autographed those for him. And then these gloves. So during the era of the Syndicate, when I was trying to get the whole black and red thing going for the group, I switched to these gloves to protect the other workers because I'm going to tag people with this thing, right? And over the years, I got rid of the left-handed glove and I kept the right-handed glove. And I was taping my fist underneath it. And I used to just take my glove off and smoke the guy with my taped fist. But as time went on, wrestlers wanted me to get rid of the gauntlet. So I got rid of it. I carried them around in my gear bag in case I wanted them, in case I needed them. But I never really used them. So I also gave him those gloves. They were very, very beat to shit. I used them with love on a lot of different wrestlers. But I made sure that he understood that they were very important to me. And then this right here, that we're gonna watch a match, a clip of this match here, because it was a rusted piece of dog collar that has no links on the end. And I had to explain to him how important this chain was to me. Because I carry the chain in the front of my tights, right? And it's in my gear bag. It's a new one. But I used to carry around the original. It had miles and miles. It probably had Baron's blood still on it, for God's sakes. It had miles and miles on it. And it's rusted and beat to hell. So now I use them for choking chickens, yes. So I told him, I said, the most famous moment of this chain's life happened in this match against Max Sterling, and I'm going to show you where this chain was used. So let's finish this match out real quick. We're both about spent at this point. Oh, fifth wheel, down goes Vinny. And I'm into the boot. I'm trying to get the chain out. And I kicked out. I am going to the gimmick. Come on, here it goes. Spine buster. That's it. Cover him. 1, 2. Oh, hey, there's Crash. We're telling a story about gifts. Give me just a second, and we'll get there. So here's Vinny. There's the chain. That's the chain that I gave Scottish in Scotland. What I'm going to do with it is I'm going to thread it through the cage, and I'm going to make a loop. Then I'm gonna pull it back through and make a second loop in the other direction. Then I got his hand, and I'm trying to shove his hand into the chain, right? So I get him up, and as I reach through the chain and I grab his wrist like this, and I go to pull him through. And as I go to pull him through, watch what happens. Watch what happens. I'm gonna pull the wrist through. He yanked my arm, and now my hand's on the chain, and I tried to run to get him, and it pulled me onto my ass. And Max Sterling wins. Max Sterling wins his title back. So, hey, Crash. I love it, baby. I love it. So that is where that chain came from. I mean, that's the most important part of that chain's life. But I kept that. Play the last spot again. Don't flashbang the stream, you sack of Schmidt. Thanks. I needed that. Damn it. But yeah, you can Google that. It's Vinny Machete versus Max Sterling. It's a really good match. You sack of Schmidt. So I gave that to Scottish, and I gave him. I have a collection here of various corks from all my whiskey bottles, and I had one that said, "Show your face, please, so I can finish telling this story." It's like a 3-hour long deal.
Hello.
All right, they've seen the Vinny. Say hi, Vinny.
Hi, Vinny.
He did it right. He did it right. High five. Good job. Who are you? No one invited you. Go away. I'll call you when it's your turn.
Sacker Schmidt.
Did you bring all the corks to Cork? No, I didn't. Go away.
You Sacker Schmidt.
Sacker Schmidt. So, all right. What was the other thing? There was a cork it had a really nice oak wooden head on it, and I just had to take it to Scottish. That's it. Yeah, it's the real Vinny, the mini one. Yes, yeah, that's the real Vinny. I'm playing pretend right now. God. So what I did was I gave him that. I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff that I gifted him with. That I had to give him personal things that meant a lot to me, and things from the stream, and but I didn't want him to feel, because I don't have a T-shirt to give him. I don't have anything he can wear, so I had to make sure that it was meaningful. But I hope he enjoyed it. I don't know what he's done with it. I haven't seen pictures. Diamonds. Sacker Schmidt. All right. So we're sitting down having breakfast. And this was my first instance of having what is called Scottish porridge. A bunch of white Americans don't understand what porridge is. They think oatmeal, but it's not oatmeal. It's a little bit more than oatmeal. And it's not a solid state creature. I like my oatmeal to be kind of solid. This was more of I can't call it a soup, but it was like cream of wheat sort of thing. And they don't eat it with sugar or what have you. They like to do it with salt, and I'm glad I did, because the salt brings out the buttery flavor in this thing. Yes, the stuff that looks like oatmeal, that is actually porridge. And they give you butter to go with it. Yes, it looks like oatmeal. This thing here, this menagerie with the golden syrup. Well, to each their own. I'm liking the salt because, like I said, it brings out that butter flavor, and whatever's in it, man, it was really, really good. This menagerie here of your different kinds of jams and jellies and honey, that shit right there is money. I love that thing. But that brand, Wilkin and Sons, I've seen it before, and it's really, really good. After his golden shower. We talked about the shower in all the hotels in Scotland where it's like a rain. Yes, the golden shower. You were paying attention. I'm glad. All right. This is some black tea. I loved having the tea. We ate the croissant already. The tea. I love the tea in Scotland. I got some when I went to Jungle Gyms. I got a bunch of it, and it is really good shit. But this is money. The night before we told them we were gonna come down for breakfast, right? And I searched shit eaters on the web when I was 10, and I found out. Oh, good Lord. I love you. This is not the time. All right, so so in the morning, in the evening, we prepped for breakfast and we got to pick our menu, and I wanted this Scotch salmon on the bagel with the poached egg and the hollandaise sauce. And it blew my mind, the poached egg, because back home, I've never done a poached egg. You got to put vinegar in the water, and you drop the egg in, and for some reason, it makes the egg encompass itself, and it keeps the yolk from getting hard. You can cook it real fast, and then pull it out before your yolk can stay runny. But this was money. I've had this stuff in a package, but I've never had it from Scotland. And boy, let me tell you something. That was a good meal. That was a real good meal. Holy crap. Witchcraft is involved to make a good poached egg. I think you're right. I think you're right. But I enjoyed this so much. Scottish got tired of watching me. You get out of here. I'm working.
Dad, I need to tell you something.
What?
Can I have some eggnog?
I'm all out. We drank it all. Thank you. You rotten sons of. So Scottish got tired of watching me eat because I was savoring every meal. I was sitting there and I'm putting my tools down because I'm forcing myself to savor every meal because I knew it was going to be forever before I got my hands on real food again. And man, I did. I sat there and I noshed on that and money. All right, so we start up the road because we got to get to Stirling. We're on the road to Stirling Castle. Why is this important, Scottish? Well, let me tell you why. Stirling's important because it was the birthplace of Scottish's boy, Scottish Tiger Jr. And he hadn't been there in 18 years or some shit. It had been a long time since the man had been on the streets of Stirling. And I recommended we go there because it was meaningful to him, it was meaningful to me, and it was as much of a vacation for him as it was for me. So I had to make sure that he got as much out of this trip as I did. And boy, did he ever. And so I was taking pictures along the way. This was just above one of the buildings. It was this quaint little piece of Caledonian Railway. Very picturesque, Harry Potter. Me and the Harry Potter thing, I'm constantly on this. But if you look in the background of Harry Potter, the movies, when they're at the train stations, it all looked like this. And I never got tired of taking pictures. Scottish said when we got to Stirling that building was not there back. None of these buildings, for the most part, were there when he used to travel these streets. But I'm glad I did take this picture because it gives you an idea of what it looks like. The bike paths, these weird, crossing signals, the weird signage, the immaculate street lights. There's a lot more majesty to. No, he's not 90. He's like 900. Leave him alone. But everything in Scotland was majestic, and I never got tired of taking pictures, man. Everything was something that I had to show back home. Whether it was the night bus, the double-decker buses, or it was the way the buildings were shaped, everything was so much fun to look at. These mountains weren't here. Marky's busted his balls, and I love it. There was a wolf weather vane. I know it didn't turn out with the dam with my camera, but it's a wolf weather vane, and it was hot. I was like, dude, there's a wolf up there. So just everything was so cool. Everything was cool. Here's a mural on the wall, and I'm guessing this is Robert the Bruce and Mary Queen of Scots. If I'm guessing, right? And I'm probably, I think with the beard, that's who that is. But yeah, beautiful mural. Here's this wolf again. And it was, I got it right. I'm learning. I need to know my history when I get over there. I don't want to be a total freaking American. But all of the Christmas lights, all the ornate tapestries, this stuff was everywhere. And I just had to keep taking pictures because I kept telling Scottish, man, it's not for me. It's from my mom, man. I'm telling you, my mom wants to see this stuff. And she does. She was, if I didn't take pictures, I'm never going to hear the end of it. An arcade, I guess some sort of a gallery and a barber shop. We didn't go in here, but, arcade screams my name. I got to go look at video games. Look at this church. Every church. Vinny doing all the cringe touristy shit. Yes, I was. Look at this church. I'm serious. I never get tired of looking at churches. Because the way they build these things, and they can't redo any of this stuff. It's... Woo! Well, hello there. Come on in, have a seat. Welcome to the program. My name is Mr.VIPofButchery. We're talking about my trip to Scotland, and this is the last part of the tour. So, you missed the wrestling part, but welcome to the show. I'll catch up with you after I'm done with this whole story, and it's going to be a long-winded day. Okay, good. All right, so, yes, the churches, every single church, is like, Scottish are going, there's a church, over there's a church. Man, they're beautiful. I took a picture of the McDonald's because I wanted to prove, yes, I can see them, and no, I did not get to eat at one. I told him I wanted to have some kind of a cheeseburger or something to see if it tasted the same as back in the States, but we didn't have any time. No time at all. And then there's these bikes. There's the electric bicycles. Maybe they are electric. Scooters, yeah. Lined up here where, we have the well, not scooters, the freaking bikes. But we have the scooters back here in the States. They don't really have a whole lot of electric bikes around here. Oh, the McRib? Yeah. The chat is still wrestling, though. Yes, it is. The chat is banging the hell out of each other. Well, do the priests molest the altar boys there, too? I didn't stop long enough to ask, but I'll ask next time I'm there. I'll tell them you wanted to know. But let me repeat: the entire world is brick. This asphalt stuff or tar is very, very rare. It's more brick everywhere you go, and it's so beautiful. Food on glass plates, man. I tell you what. All right, it's like this everywhere. It's very, very cool. Because the reason why I took this picture, because 2 feet down, here's a guy on his knees working in a friggin' hole in the ground. All right, let's put this in a time frame. In America, if there's a hole even remotely that big in the dirt, they're gonna tear up the entire road. They're gonna redo it. And it's going to take him like 6 months before you're ever going to be allowed to drive on that road again. That's in America. This guy's down here on his knees, and they're going to fill and pack this hole. Okay? They're going to fill and pack this hole. We're going to go up to do the Stirling Castle tour. We're going to come back down, and this sumbitch is done. Maybe 2 hours. And these guys are packing up, ready to leave. And I'm like, this is really cool. In the U.S., they wait for a small car to fall in the hole, and then they pave it over. I told him that. I told Scottish that. We made a whole conversation of jokes about this shit. We got potholes older than Scottish. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But yeah, that's why they're using brick, because the brick it's gonna last forever. All you gotta do is replace the shit in the middle. It's killing me. So everything out there looked like this. It was textured, so you don't slip and fall and kill yourself. But look at this street. There's living quarters above everything. The ground level is your shoppings and your businesses, right? And there's this church clock tower in the distance. And let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Everything that you look at was beautiful. Every single thing. And you can sit at these pictures, which I'm going to post on my Facebook page. You can sit and look at these pictures for yourself. Everything, like the lion here, all this. I was oohing and eyeing and everything. Just gorgeous architecture. The lights are immaculate. And I was in heaven, because as a nerd and as someone who loves the medieval era, this was a lot more fun for me. And here we go. I believe this is William Wallace. I do believe. Scottish could point that out and make sure that I'm right, but I'm pretty sure that's who that is. Because he was everywhere. Yeah, Wallace. He was everywhere. But look at this thing. They made all these memorials to these people, because they wanted to give honor to the men and women who made their country great, and it's still standing hundreds and hundreds of years later. They didn't tear nothing down because someone got butt hurt somewhere. It's still right where they put it. Where are we at here? Well, you'd have to argue with Scottish over that one. He was telling me about some of the inaccuracies in the movie. But you can argue with Scottish over that. Look at this. Look at this. This is just either a hotel or what have you downtown, and you can't take in enough of the here's these wonderful turret shaped rooms and these sculptures, and I was just constantly licking the walls because I couldn't help it. In America, we don't have beautiful architecture like this. It's gone. It's been destroyed. It's been removed. So when you see these things, like when I went to the palaces of St. Petersburg, one of the last tours they did back in the 90s, it was fantastic. We got an ad break coming up in a minute and a half, 2 minutes, whatever. The Sterling Royal Hotel. Thank you, Scottish. He knows these streets. He knows these streets something fierce, and I can't give away any information, but I want to state for the record that I have never seen a man who is as experienced in the world like Scottish is. Over the last several days, he was Scottish. He was doing what the old man does. But when we were in Sterling, I've never seen a man walk straighter or prouder than he did in the hours we spent there. He was on his feet. He was straight as an arrow, and he was awesome, giving me all the information from every angle, telling me about where he used to live, telling me about this and that, and about the
You sack of shit.
Okay, I'm in the middle of something. Go away. Hey, that joke's over. That joke's over. So the man was very, very good to me, and this town was clearly very important to him, so I'm glad I made him take me. But here in a minute, we're going to do the ad break. Oh, ad break ended. Crap. I read that wrong. I was in the middle of an ad break. Cool, and I get to repeat myself because half of you don't have a subscription. But no, for the time that I spent in Sterling, the man was straight as an arrow. and he walked very proud and very righteous to a town that was basically his turf, and it was as much of a fantastic experience for him as it was for me, and I am so glad that I made him go. Next time, flag me down that I'm in the middle of a friggin' ad break because I missed the cue. My bad. I apologize. All right, so this was just a shop window that I stopped at and looked at because every shop window, no matter you were in Stirling or Perth or downtown Edinburgh, it was like this. It was immaculate and it was eye-catching, you know. Thanks, Crash. I love you. Mwah! Have a good time, baby. Appreciate your time. Be good. This here, up the street, it was a school, and, you know, again, everything was beautiful. No matter where you went, it was beautiful. Here's this plaque about a coffee house. In the 17th century, these premises formed part of the townhouses of the lands of Craigengelt. It extended right through the block to Baker Street and included a garden and a ducat or pigeon house from 1922 to 1924. The Sterling Salvation Army Citadel was here. The narrow passage or close, connecting Spittle Street, and Baker Street recall the days before cars and lorries. So there was information like this throughout the entirety of the trip, and I just started taking pictures of these plaques. Again, more for my mother than for anybody else. But look at this. This is just it's on the side of the road, and you're going, why can't I live like this? That's why we call them dues. A ducat. Okay, gotcha. You did tell me that. Stacy! Oh, Stacy, my man. It is a pleasure to speak with you again. Stacy is a really good human being, folks. One of the few humans on this earth that I'd take a bullet for. All right? I know this guy personally. He knows me from back in my meat cutting days. I'm glad you stopped in to say hi, my brother. I hope you're doing well. If I ever get another follower or a subscription, I'll take a shot. But for right now, we're telling stories. But sit back, Stacy. I got a lot of work ahead of me. We're going through Sterling right now. But I took a picture because, man, you got these beautiful doors. You got this great architecture, and everything just jumps out at you and makes you want to look at it, you know? Good to hear, baby. Good to hear. And this is another. I think it was a school. But it's a Roman architecture, and man, everything was gorgeous, and they care so much about the way things look. Here's another great angle from this Sterling Highland Hotel. These wonderful tower-shaped buildings, and you know, again, all of these statues. Everywhere you look, you could probably stand in one angle and look forever and not see all of it, let alone the 360. You know, another beautiful Minecrafty looking house here. I love the windows. This sort of thing just jumps out at me. This is a high school. I would love to go to high school at this place. Look at this thing. It's got meaning. It's got meaning. It's got all these symbols, and you know, it's a high school, for God's sakes. It's not metal and steel and plastic. It's stone and a little bit of wood, and it is meant to last. Yeah, the tower-shaped buildings I had a hard on for that. I don't know why. Yeah, it wouldn't burn as easy. Exactly. Look at this place. It's a beautiful color, so well put together, majestic. Sterling was very majestic. And you were going uphill the whole time, because we talked about on the last stream, we were talking about the cragging, because it's got crags on the side, which is the protection side of the castle, and then it's got the tail of the dragon that goes up to the castle. We're on the tail taking pictures, all right? So you're at this angle going uphill, and that man, Scottish, did not waver, not one time up this hill, baby. He was pounding ground like he owned the place. But here's this upward angle I'm showing you, and how the houses are built on the angle. All right, they're built on this angle. So clearly there's a base, and then this is built up underneath it to keep the house flat. But still, you see that it's built on the slope. Everything has meaning. Everything's got symbolism, and this had to be some sort of a either you got a barber possibly, or a blacksmith, or a leather worker, something of that nature. Very interesting. Every symbol has meaning. So I had to take a picture of that. This is a mausoleum. And I took a couple pictures, and this is the best colored picture that I got. From where I was standing, I couldn't believe how beautiful this thing was. And it's hard telling how old it is. And I'm sorry, it's a little blurry at this end, but man, I'm going uphill and I'm trying to get them as fast as I can go. But look at that. Just gorgeous. This is the old jail. And, me being the nerd, I'm standing there looking, here are your arrow slots, right? So they can fire arrows out of this window and this window. And here's these points where they would fire down for protection, right? Or pour things, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But, they have all these stab, slice, firing locations. And then here's your look down through the center. And again, everything is stone. Here's another gorgeous clock tower. And they're everywhere. They are literally everywhere. So if you forget what time it is, it's your damn fault. So beautiful. And all of this is, day-to-day life. I'm like, man, it's like living in a fairy tale. Was this from the previous building? No. Okay. No, I took this picture because of the face on it. Everything has meaning. There we go. There's that clock tower up close. There's the street again. Because the street, it blew me away. Everywhere you go is brick. Now look at this church. I do this the entire stream. Look at this church. Man, tell me that window is not bigger than your whole house. You can't tell me that window's not bigger than your whole house. That window is gigantic. And they build it up to here, and then they capped it off, and they build it up to here, and they capped it off, and then they swoop all the way up here with this wonderful, wonderful architecture. And the gargoyles and everything else, dude. Look at this thing. I was in love. I was in love from the word go. I'd want to live there just so I could stand there and gawk at it. Woo! Thank you for joining the mob. And because we are in the middle of a Scotland stream, I am going to hit... There it is. There's my vin glass. I am going to hit... the Dalmore that I brought back from Scotland. My emotional support Dalmore. Oh, the Dalmore is fantastic. It is my favorite. Oh my God, that gets better with age. All right, this is a 15-year-old Dalmore, and it is, woo! I gotta take a shot because we got a new follower in the mob. God bless you, Stacy. This one's for you, Jack. If you've never had a bottle of Dalmore, I highly suggest you go down to your local liquor store, you find yourself this Scottish elk, and you buy yourself a bottle of the Dalmore. Here we go, baby. Skål. Oh, God, that's good. Oh, God, that's good. Oh, my goodness. The red deer. Yeah, okay, fine. I like calling it a Scottish elk. It's got more elegance. It's got a huge rack, man. Deer sounds so common. Elk sounds like you mean it, you know? All right. So, but look at the absolute ginormous architecture of this window, and I would love to see what it looks like on the inside because I hope it's not all bricked up. You got to go to California to see a huge rack. Ha! But no, it was like this the entire journey. Here's the other side of the building, right? They go on every single quadrant, and all the doors look like this, and the wrought iron fence everywhere. I was licking the walls at every opportunity. Here's one of these locations where the nerd in me, I'm instantly going, I love this. We got ruins. We have ancient wood. We have all these hollow, shady places. You got these open areas here, and it just screams to you, go play in this place because it has meaning. This is this whole wall right here of whatever this dilapidated section was. It was so much fun to look at. Here's where they would poke you with spears, okay? Right there, whoop, right there. They would poke you with the spears and stab you from that angle. But this is all guarded like this, and it's dark on the inside. I took a picture of it somewhere. Very creepy, but all these doors had writing over top of it, right? It looks like a male slot. It looks like a female slot if you know what you're doing. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. So there was all this writing over top, and it was probably in Latin, and my buddy Scottish does not know the vernacular, so he hadn't a clue what it says, but I had to take a picture of it. Here's another one of these wrought iron gates and this gorgeous architecture. When you play video games, none of us stop and actually look at anything because we're so busy, we're in the middle of whatever we're doing. But I assure you that there's no video games that you can do a first-person view that has beauty like these things. So here's these ports right here, and you got obviously these windows, but they pour things out of these ports like hot oil or tar or what have you. As defense mechanisms. Here's another port they would do that from, right? Defense mechanisms. Whether there was cannons on top or they're dropping hot stones off of it. That's what they did. And these gargoyles, I never got tired of looking at it. It was this kind of offense as a gamer tells you there's something cool behind this gate. I need to find the key. Pour out the bedpans. No, wrong song. All right, my bad. So inside one of the windows, I took this picture. Here's a closet and storage. So you could imagine them placing their helmets or their armor or their weapons or whatever in these alcoves. Food, as we were told, I'll show you in Stirling Castle, these were cupboards. So this is more than likely where they would store their arms when they weren't using them. This was the gate that I put the camera through to take the picture. And then here's one of those shallow hidden spaces. And I've zoomed in to look for faces already. I didn't see any. But yeah, it looked creepy like this, and I couldn't get enough of it, man. I couldn't get enough of it. Here's another shot of the other side of the street. And, this cobblestone wall is what I call it, but these stone walls. And then look at this friggin' gate. I mean, come on, man. You stand there for hours and just gawk at this stuff. It's just so beautiful. Here's your cemetery on the way up. Here's your cemetery. The wonderful crosses, Celtic crosses, headstones. And I took a picture of this one. It stood out to me. I had to take a picture of that one. Tried to zoom in on it. I love this door too. It's clearly ancient. And you got these peepholes like you see in the movies. And no, this is not Scottish's house. But yeah, the portcullis. The portcullis. And everything was like this. Everything was like this. It was the old grammar school. The school provided a mainly classical education for the better off boys of the town and area. It was erected, that one was for Crash. It was erected in 1787 or 1788 when the school was flourishing under Dr. David Doing. Though he was a noted scholar, Burns thought him something of a pedant. In 1856, it was replaced by the high school, which taught some girls and had a wider syllabus. The old grammar school, later used as a military store, is now a hotel. But like I said, pictures of this stuff. Oh, glory holes. That's what I meant to say. Okay, my bad. Here is a sweeping, beautiful view from, we're literally on the road up to the castle, okay? We're almost there. We're traveling the Dragon Tail, but look at this countryside. And it goes on forever like this. There's no skyscrapers. There's nothing in the way. There's no eyesores. It is beautiful like this at every single angle. And then obviously this, the Tower of Sauron. No, that is the Wallace Monument. That giant creature. What did you say it was? 288 steps? 228 steps? Something like that. 288 steps to the top. It is a big, big tower, and it's out there in the middle of no man's land, and it is cool from a distance. Here's some live action because I hit the wrong button. I was looking for it could take another picture. It was live action. Go back. Do it again. Sure, I do it again. With that. But yeah, here's the picture I took. And the Highlands were like this everywhere. And us being in the States, I kept telling him it looks like West Virginia. But that's what it looks like, But this is a lot closer than what West Virginia would look like. You know what I'm saying? The trees would be itty bitty in that distance. This is much closer, so it's just so cool to look at. 285, there it is. To the Claymore. This is a magpie. I took 4 or 5 pictures of this creature, and it posed for me, so I got him right there. Beautiful white belly and this black hood. I loved it. He saw me taking pictures, and he turned around and gave me this angle here. God bless him. Here's these Harry Potter houses I kept taking pictures of. But look at this. just the entirety of the city of Sterling rolling out before you, and just not a skyscraper or ugly building in sight. It is beautiful, forever beautiful. And here's me about to go into Stirling Castle. You see the castle, and you see the doggone it. Oh, it's basically the royal quarters being right here. But this is all the. Oh yeah, sorry. This is the castle. This guy here would be the where they would educate the children. They built it for the prince, but you have to do the Google search for yourself. I'm still educating myself. But the reason why this one is different from that one is because they were doing some work on this, and they found this color underneath, and it's called King's Gold, and it's a specific stone color found in Scotland that they used to make this paint, and it was covered up over the years, and they found it and restored it to its original color. That's why it's a different color than the rest of the entirety of the castle. And I believe this is Mr. Robert the Bruce. I believe because of the beard. The Claymore, however, tells me opposite. So you have to clear that up for us, there, Scottish. I believe that's Mr. Bruce. But yeah, just great. Yeah, Robert the Bruce. The beard. So you got to remember, there's not Lenny Bruce, brother. No, it's not Lenny Bruce. The beard is what gives it away for most people. That's the symbol of Robert the Bruce. So you can tell him apart from a lot of people. And then this was on the bottom of it, the prancing lion. Just everywhere you looked, yeah, you couldn't take enough pictures. Here's another shot of the Wallace Monument. I'm telling you, it's like Sauron's Tower. It's the biggest thing as you see for miles and miles. I bet you the view from that and the crown, yes sir. I bet you the view from that is also immaculate. Here's one of these modern Scottish soldiers. Could not pinpoint exactly who this was, but it's a memorial to these guys here, this particular battalion, and the memory of those who lost their lives in service of the country during the South African War from 1899 to 1902. But yeah, it was a specific later in life battalion of this country. Here's cannons. I got to show you guys this castle because, man, I've seen some shit in my day, but this stuff was really, really cool. I've always wanted to see this stuff, and here I am up close and personal. Yeah, bows and arrows and spears and flaming pitch, sure. Catapults. These guys had cannons in the later years. But that's not the cool thing in these photos, and I'm going to show you. This is the cool thing in the photos. This is a moat. Hold on, it gets better. I take multiple pictures of this. This is the entrance of the moat. So when you're playing Skyrim and you go into that one castle, and there's the moat around the outside, and it has the stairwell that leads up to get out of the freaking water, and you're like, why in the hell is there a stairwell? Here we are in a moat. This is the long angle, and this would have all been filled in with, obviously, water, fetid, crocodiles, what have you. But yeah, this was the defense mechanism. And here's this angle. Again with the everything was cool. Look at the stones. People had to put these things in place, 1,000+ years ago, and it's still right there where they left them. Wood is not used universally as anything other than ornate decoration. Generally, everything is stone, but beautiful nonetheless. And then here, at this angle, is where the water would flow in and be emptied out. It was right in through these ports. And obviously no longer in use, but that's what these are for. Filling in the moat. Here's your portcullis. I took lots of pictures. The lion rampant. Yeah, well, okay. Prancing unicorn, lion rampant, rampant unicorn. Your choice. Here's you know what these are? These are keystones. You can't build this freaking arch without keystones. I took a picture of this because here is the door you get from Lord of the Rings. You know, the great big door with the little door on the inside. It tripped my trigger. I giggled the entire way. Yeah, this is not a mail slot. This is where the big door opens for the coaches to come through, and the little door opens for the guards and one single person to march through. I got off just a little bit. All these steel rivets. I got off a little bit. I couldn't help it. This is the nerd in me just clawing my way through Castle Sterling. All right, so I got an ad break coming in about a minute. It's not a pet door unless your pet's a dragon. I got 45 seconds to an ad break. And we will continue on this journey into Castle Sterling. I assure you that while Scottish was having a good time with this tour, I'm in heaven because I've always wanted to do this, and I'm inside of a castle. I didn't get to go to the Loch Ness Castle, but this thing here is damn near unbeatable. Everywhere you looked, and every angle, and everywhere you turned your head was something cool to look at. Or another hallway that just blew your mind, and it went and curved down these. It was beautiful. So let's do the ad break, and we will come back and continue up the road, and we'll get to hear some of the tour from a Scotsman himself, so you can hear the accent. Because I'm selfish and didn't share anything of my journey with you, right? No, I am. I'm selfish. And the Dalmore. Oh God, I love the Dalmore. There will be more whiskey in this conversation, I promise you. Hopefully we get a few more followers. That was beautiful getting a new one. We get us a few more, we'll be set for life. But yeah, give me just a minute to get to this ad break, and we'll continue on the tour. Please, God, don't let me get interrupted again. Oh, Scottish. Are you having fun, buddy? I hope I didn't drop the ball too hard yet. I'm having a blast. I'm drinking this thing here. It's called Holy Cannoli. Where's it at? Holy Cannoli. It was something I picked up at Jungle Jim's. I worked my ass off today at the house, and I was gassed when it was like, all right, time to go do the stream. And I'm going, I ain't got the power left to do the stream. So I dropped that stuff into this glass. It's got 255 milligrams of caffeine. I am amped now, Dad. We're ready to rock out. Terry! I love it. It's always good to see Terry. Terry's a good dude. I love it. I appreciate it. He's a good man. All the follows would be fantastic. Daddy. Yes, please. 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or maybe another 100 would be fantastic. All right, we're back. Welcome everyone to another episode of Benny Goes and Licks the Stone. All right, that's not the only hard thing I've licked today. Let's continue on down the road. This here is this wonderful arch entrance, and man, I'm telling you, everything you look at was cool like this. The pitted alcoves, whether it was for storage, for self defense, um, uh, brother, you tell me, but it was, you had to go through this tunnel to get to the castle. You can't go any other direction. So this is their self defense mechanism. The inner gate. Look above the arch. The royal cipher AR belongs to Queen Anne. Anne had the outer defenses, including this gate built in 1708 after her half brother James Stewart contested her right to the crown. She said, "Fuck you! I'm building a wall." The Jacobites sought to help James Stewart and his deposed father James VII to regain the throne. This was a very important castle. It changed hands a number of times in a very short period because this was the center of attention for a long time. Um, it meant a lot to have this ground. So the Jacobites, there's a really cool story about the Jacobites getting their asses handed to them. Uh, yeah, no, the English. Damn it, maybe it was getting their asses handed to them. Scottish have to straighten me out. But there's a cool story about. I'll explain it once he straightens me out on what the target was. I'll tell that story with the cannons. But here's another one of these. I'm sorry, the other side of the arch that we're taking pictures of here. And this archway leads into the gardens, right? Well, yeah, they both got their asses handed to them. You're right. You're right. Why do I have to pick a side? I suppose everybody got their asses kicked at some point. But all this stonework, just gorgeous. The four-work gatehouse, the grand entrance to James IV's castle, was among the most magnificent in the British Isles. Such a glorious castle. Look at this thing! Look at this thing! You can't tell me that's not cool. All the games that you ever played, all the stories you ever read, all the movies you ever watched, and here I am standing in it. And I could not take it enough. Look at this. Could not take it enough. So beautiful. And I got a video of a long shot so you guys can see just how big this thing is. But it's huge, but at the same time, when you think about protectionism and being on top of a mountain, you only got so much space. And man, it's mind-boggling how people lived in this thing nonstop. Here is, I believe it's the south side wall is what they talked about because the devil looks out over the south side wall down at the English, I believe. And I took this picture because these statues were just so cool. And they're everywhere. Absolutely. The gargoyles, the statues. I was in heaven. I was in nerd heaven. The dwarf in me just wanted to settle. Just make a encampment right here. You're gonna live here forever. I'm gonna live with the stone. Let me look. Just look. And there's no words. Everything has a meaning. There is symbolism. There is numerology, and the intricate details. They're never the same statue twice. There are meanings behind everything, and they've been up here for centuries, and they're still there. Man, and anybody got questions, feel free to ask questions. But this creature was a different color. That's that king's gold color. Here's the cannons. So the story goes that the castle occupants had all this enforcement up here on the ridge, and off to the right, and I'll show you in a minute. Off to the right, there's a town, and where most of the town was, and that's where all the businesses were, where the houses were, where the people were. And I believe it was the Jacobites that came up and decided they were going to assault the castle. And they're like, the people were like, listen, could you please move your army to the other side of the castle so we don't lose our livelihood over here? Yeah, there you go. Bonnie, Prince Charlie, and the Jacobite army. So they're off in the city, and they're like, you know what? That's a reasonable request. It's not fair to you guys. I know that the cannons are aimed this way, but you're right. It's not fair to you people. We're gonna go over here. They spent 6 days building their entrenchment for their cannons to line everything up. 6 days of digging and entrenching themselves and getting down in there and ready to go. And when they finally got ready and they fired the first shot, the occupants of the castle rained down shit for 1 hour and decimated everything. I mean, toast. Okay? And it just makes you giggle because they sat up there for 6 days and just stood there and watched while they dug. And it's like, well, when they fired the first shot, we'll do our job. And boy, did they ever. 1 hour in, toast. I mean, come on. You feel bad for the guys who had to dig for 6 days and then die for no reason. But quite the story, and you can't help but laugh at it. I kept taking pictures of every single thing. And again, I'm going to post them on Facebook so everybody can just gawk at their heart's content. The tower-shaped buildings, I couldn't stop looking at. Here is the well. It has obviously been gated over like this, but that is the well. I had to take a picture of it because it looked too much like a dungeon. Fire the cannons! And here's a crow. He was up there on the ledge. I got a picture of him, or a blackbird, or what have you. But it was pretty good, damn good size, and I absolutely couldn't miss that opportunity. He was big old boy. Here's me in front of the cannon. That is not what I'm doing at all, Marky. That's not what I'm doing. I am not spitting on that cannon. That's not what I'm doing right now. I was in public, for crying out loud. But yeah, here's the back end of the cannon. And they meant business, dude. They meant business. They weren't screwing around at all. All right, so here is the cemetery out front, and this is the approximate area that they parked those cannons and got crushed by them. So they died either in this cemetery or just beyond, just a bit further beyond. That's where they got just trounced. And here's another shot of the from where I was standing of that memorial. Here's these cool dogs parked on top of the castle. It kind of reminded me of the Ghostbusters and Gozer. You had to be careful not to piss these gargoyles off. They're gonna come down and rain shit on you. I'm telling a story. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
I just want to be included in this.
You will be, but I'm telling the story. I'll get to you. You're at the end of the story.
But the only thing that the free stream wants is you and me streaming together. But
today's not that day.
All right, but if you just
Go away.
You go away.
Go away.
Like a Schmidt.
I should have told that joke. Okay, so here we are with these is a lion and a unicorn, and they're covered in this gold regalia, and everything you saw was absolutely beautiful.
Just beyond where the industrial estate is today. The Scots Army had been trained in the use of schiltrons. A schiltron was a large circle of men, each with a 12-foot spear pointing in all directions. They're like a giant hedgehog. And crucially, they were trained to be able to move anywhere they were required on the battlefield and stay in formation. So in English cavalry, the shock troops, the medieval equivalent of a tank, when they attacked, they were met by a wall of spears and repulsed. The Scots then went on the offensive. They started to push back and push back. The English gave ground and gave ground. After fighting all day, the Battle of Bannockburn was won by the Scots and the English completely routed. And of course, the castle was back in Scottish hands once more. But the next day, Robert the Bruce ordered Stirling Castle completely destroyed. He didn't really have the resource to hold in man a castle such as this one, and he didn't want it recaptured and used in action against him. So all the walls completely torn down, the castle flattened, rendered defenceless. And that's one of the many reasons we don't have a lot of early evidence of how the castle looked. It continued to be rebuilt and remodelled many times over the centuries. But what we really have here is a Renaissance castle built by the Stuart kings and queens. And to tell you more about it, we're going to get a closer look from just at the top of that ramp there.
So this guy was very, very good. He was very good. He was crystal clear. He was succinct, and he had the audience's attention. Was it the look? Was it the way he carried himself, or was it the textbook repeating of the story? I don't know what it was, but he got a round of applause at the end of the journey because he was good. And he even took time out for a question or two, and was very helpful in the way he handled the crowd. So yeah, I actually had a longer video, I thought, but I didn't. I was holding the damn phone, but I hit play or record, and it didn't take. So that's why I only got such a short end of the story. I was trying to get more for everybody. But there you go. There's your live Scott telling the story himself. And this is a shot from, he was standing there, and I walked up and took this picture of this church and this tower, the graveyard, from the angle. And then, look at this thing, man. Look at this. You just go down there and get lost in it. You know, you want to go and just go and experience something that's that big and beautiful. Here you go. Here is the angle from we were just up here on top, and now we're walking back this way, and that's where he said to stop. And I took this picture. It is a gorgeous castle. This thing was flattened, and it used to be taller. It was knocked over. But you see all these pock marks here? All these pock marks in the castle is where they changed the cannon style to different shot. And the castles became less and less bulletproof, so to speak. And that's they left all the wounds in the castle. The way they were. But that's the actual bullet holes, if you will, from actual warfare. So cool, very, very cool. There you go. Check this out.
It's got these smaller pedestrian entrances on either side. Flanking the gatehouse, you'll see two towers. When it was built, there was actually 4 towers. If you look to the left, you'll see at the base of one tower capped where the metal railing is, and to the right you'll see a scar in the brickwork top to bottom where another tower once stood. All 4 towers were once twice as high. And and they were capped with pointy conical roofs. They were flanked to the far side by even larger towers. This one is no.
It was a beautiful structure. It was so beautiful. Here's going out the backside of the castle. I will call you. Stop it. Here are those cupboards he was talking about. This was part of the kitchen. So, there was a huge building right there, before it was torn down and filled in, and they've since tried to excavate some of it. But the cupboard, these are cupboards. That's where they stuck the food and the dishes and what have you, is what all these were. And there's the big smokestacks where the cauldrons and the cooking ovens would be, and it was all in this one huge building, and has since been was crushed down to smaller to make room for the cannons. But where those cannons were at was all one great big building, and they condensed it down. This thing, again, no matter where you went, it was eye catching. I love these doors. Love the doors. All the gargoyles. Just so amazing. Like, what were they doing that made them want to put the specific gargoyle up? What did that gargoyle mean when they put it there? These are questions you'll never know the answer to. Now, some of these we do have the answer as to why these things exist. He went to the French to have a lot of these sculptures made because he liked the way the French made things in Paris. So the French were shipped in to make these statues, these sculptures, specifically for this particular, the one particular prince that lived there, and he was going to use it. He was going to use it to educate his kid, and then he died, if I remember correctly, and he never really saw it come to. It was all the symbolism was his promise to his people, and he didn't get to see it come to fruition because he died either before it was finished or shortly thereafter. He died before the building was finished, yeah, but all of the meaning is still there. Here's the outside of this thing at this angle, the other side. And then this corner, obviously being different from this corner, was built later. We had to take a picture of the thistle below a rose and the rose. I'm sorry, the rose above a thistle, the thistle above a rose. It was the melding of the Scots and the English, if I remember correctly. It was to mark that particular combining of families. All of these structures was just so cool. These guys, more Roman architecture, keystone. This is the outside of the cathedral. Their church. But this was the inside of the royal chambers, where they had the big dinner parties and the ballroom dances, and this candelabra sitting right here. This is the nerd in me going, whoo, pretty, whoo, pretty, whoo, pretty. The fireplaces where they would have these huge fires going to keep everybody warm in the cold and the stone. Look at this stuff. It's very beautiful. This is where the king and queen would sit and entertain their guests with their back to the biggest fire in the room. And obviously that pushes the light out onto your audience. so that you could take in the revelry, so to speak. But they were up here on this dais, and here's this wonderful tapestry. And wait till you see this ceiling. This ceiling killing me with this ceiling. Yeah, I got to get a closer look at the tapestry. Prancing unicorns. Look at this ceiling. Now this ceiling was torn down, and I think it was a flat ceiling they put in, because they put in a second story for the military at the time. And then when all that stuff went away, they returned it to its original state using pictures, paintings, and blueprints. They restored it to its original setting, and there's no nails in this thing. It is all meshed together, and it holds itself up really, really well. Then, yeah, I had to keep taking pictures because every angle was so beautiful. The guy was talking a mile a minute, and I'm just in Skyrim minding my own business. Here we are inside the church, and I had to take the one image so you guys got a real good look at what they were looking at. Doggone it, this window's nice, but it's these ornate designs on the walls that are important because they're covered up. They're covered up with fruit, and they think that much like the wall on in Harry Potter, where they had the pictures on the wall of the various, whether it was guests or it was family members, they had since been painted over, and they think that's what's there, but they have no proof of it. But yeah, they think maybe they were covered over for a specific reason. Who knows? But all of these things are done later than the original. Therefore, they believe it is a cover-up. Okay. I had Scottish take this picture of me because I wanted to be in the prison. It was kind of neat. Had to take the picture. And he handed me my phone back. And I'm like, dude, you got to see this hallway. Here's this grate, and here's this area where they're going to defend the castle from. And, there's another section going that way, and here's your arrow slit right there. Man, everywhere you went was so cool. Take a picture of this tourist mark. Yes, I was. I was a tourist. I can't help it. Man, I can't wait to go back and take more pictures. Is it Scottish time yet? Because I want to go. This was just a curb around the street, and all these cobblestones, man. He told me he wouldn't be a tourist. I was a tourist. I was trying not to be, but I couldn't help it. This was a cool thing off in the distance. I tried to get a picture of it, but man, pyramid. It's in a cemetery. Here's you some bagpipes, little tartan colors. Here's one of these daggers that goes down in your boot, so you have a weapon when you're wearing your kilt. Here's this guy here, bagpipe playing, and then here's you go with some story about Sterling bagpipes. Darnley's house. This house is traditionally said to have been the home of Lord Darnley, husband of Mary, Queen of the Scots. The style is late 16th century. The barrel-vaulted ground floor, which has no connection with the upper floors, is a rare survival. In 1651, the town authorities surrendered to Cromwell's General Monk in Janet Kilboe's Tavern, which is in his house. Well, there you go. (1957), but all this beauty. Skiing do. You told me that, I forgot. I don't have one yet, but I gotta get one. My next trip, I get to finish out my tartan gear. Oh yeah, the church bells. An actual bell. Not a digital sound, an actual bell. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that immensely. I started taking video. I'm like, ooh, it's going off. I gotta take video. The beautiful sound. I bet. All right, so we get on the train and we head. Oh wait, no. All right, go back to the castle gift shop. All right, I'm in the castle gift shop and I get a postcard from my friend, and his name is Jason Amos, and he lives out, I think, in Seattle, and he wanted a postcard from Scotland. So I have not mailed this. I have his address. I wanted to wait until I did this part of the tour. This right here is his postcard. I also got Mini Vinny a magnet of Castle Stirling. It is a token that is gold. It has Stirling Castle on it, and it's on the refrigerator in there. And I got myself a keychain of Stirling Castle. It's got green on one side, and it's got purple on the other. So green for Mini Vinny and purple for me. And while we were in there, they were doing, obviously they're doing scotch tastings. And I stopped and got a little bottle of scotch, which I took a picture of, and I'll show you in a minute. It was very good, but it was the weirdest scotch I'd ever had because it was made with like peppers and spices, and it was a whole different flavor profile, and it stood out as a scotch to me. I never really experienced that level of because everything's usually pretty smooth. This was a full-bodied, it was meant to be flavorful scotch, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. No rotting meat in it. Not this time, Dad. Not this time. But Scottish and I got a couple little knickknacks. We brought some things back from Mini Vinny, and that's when we headed down and took all those pictures. And now we're getting back on the train in Stirling, and we're going back to Perth. And there was a trolley on the train. There was a anything from the trolley, dears? I'm on the train with a trolley on it, and I'm like, I want droobles, chocolate frogs. There's an ad break. I gotta stop. Son of a basket eating mother. Where are we at? We are an hour and a half into this. I'm moving as fast as I can, Scottish brother. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be up this late for you, but I didn't want to be stuck here in this in this stream this long. So I'm trying to move as fast as I can. But I'm trying also to not forget anything, because I get down there and I'm like, crap, I forgot about the gift shop. So we'll get there. But man, it's a lot of detail, and I've retained quite a lot of data, and I think about it every day. I do. I think about it every day because it was such a life altering experience. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So I'm entertaining you while you're waiting. Got it. Good. All right, we're back. I'm sorry. No one gave me the icky to say, "Hey, dummy, you got an ad break coming in." I was talking. There we go. I found the ban button. Bip! Ban hammer. There you go. Right in the teeth. So, here's the trolley. I didn't get any chocolate frogs, but I got this wonderful milk chocolate coated caramel wafer biscuit, and it was something that Scottish said to try. I think he told me to try, or maybe I just picked it out of the menu. I can't remember. But anyway, this thing here, it struck me as a Nutty Buddy from the outside, but on the inside it was much more dense. That caramel was much more dense, almost a nougat type layer. And pulling it apart is what I do with a Nutty Buddy because it's peanut butter, But that thing there was very, very good. And I had a nice little coffee while I was sitting there on the train. This is an example of us sitting with the airplane seats because all of the table seats were taken. But you're sitting here with this airplane seat because that's all that was open to us. I took this picture on the way back to the hotel because for those of you who are nerds like me, it reminded me a lot of Labyrinth. That slimy, shiny wall that you see in Labyrinth. This little plant growing out of it right here. I was like, oh, I love this. I love this whole aesthetic. So I took a couple pictures there because I'm annoyed. Oh, you bought it for me. There it was. Yeah, that's what it was. There it was. Okay. Yeah, but I got the coffee off the trolley. There we go. All right. My bad. Small detail. My fault. Here's another one of these wonderful structures. The Gothic style. This is us walking back to the hotel. So beautiful. But now, okay, so we're in this shop, out front of one of these shops, and I'll remind myself in a second where the hell I was at. Oh, that's right, we were in a coffee shop waiting for the train, and we did that a lot. He and I, we sat. Some of the best time I had was he and I just sitting drinking coffee and BSing and people watching, because you look at all the people, and I kept telling him, I'm like, where are the unhealthy people? Because you go to a Walmart in America, and the gene pool looks like it's about this thick, right? The mouth breathing, knuckle dragging, goatee having bimbos that you just can't figure out how the hell they exist. And then you go to Scotland and you're sitting there, yeah, no coffee for you. You were having other things, but I'm having coffee. But you look at the people around you, and they're all healthy and and relatively good looking, and they all got dogs. They're all walking dogs. They're all walking, and you don't see them like locked in. You don't see them locked in doing this the entire time. Okay, they're present, especially when they're sitting down at the coffee shops or in the restaurants. For the most part, everyone is engaged, and it was so refreshing, and I craved that life so badly. But we were sitting there gonna have coffee, waiting on the train. And I just started taking pictures of the beautiful pastries they got laid out here. That thing, the gold, really cool looking, but not for me. I'm not consuming the sugar. I had this thing. And it was a name that I couldn't pronounce. I hadn't seen before. Didn't realize it was one of these frou-frou type of deals. But he poured it, and it was gorgeous. So I took a couple pictures of it. Very pretty little drink there. Okay, now we're getting into the details. Here is the ticket taker at the train station. So everything is automated. You get these little orange tickets, and you run them through right here, and they come out the top. You stick it in the middle, it comes out the top, And we couldn't get ours to work. Like, most of the time, it wouldn't work. So people have to let you through, but they got to verify that you are what you are. And this was the handicap gap right here because it was wider than these other ones. When you got luggage, you want to use the handicap one because you need the space. And here's, again, that architecture in the train stations that you see throughout all the Harry Potter movies. Mind the gap! I took a picture for Mini Vinny. Mind the gap! I took a picture for Mini Vinny because you hear it said all the way through the trip. They tell the Americans to mind the gap, so we don't get... I missed the bot. I went to get food when you had an ad break. You missed the bot. The bot? The bot. What bot? What bot? B-O bot. What bot are we talking about? There was no robot. Oh, this thing is not a robot. This is the trolley. Yeah, you didn't miss much. You're fine. I will filter back through these pictures for you. Oh, yeah. Scottish was translating the announcements. Kept telling me that the American needed to not get run over by the gust of wind as the train came through. Yeah, this is where you feed your ticket in. Wrong button. Oh, the spam bot. Oh, okay. No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Not a problem. It's all good. I found the ban button. I can swing that hammer when I needed to. So here's the Forbidden Forest. I was trying to get Mini Vinny a picture of the Forbidden Forest. It was everywhere. Here's this purple gate. I'm going to find people. I'm going to take a picture of it. And, obviously the beautiful town down in that direction. Lady, I took pictures of some of the signage because some of the names is silly. Lady Bank. Man, what do you get at a Lady Bank? Is that where you keep your hygiene items at the Lady Bank? What do you keep at the Lady Bank? It's the bank where you keep the ladies. Call that a brothel. That's not what that is. Oh, Scottish. I love this shot. Check this out. All this blurriness, and then look at this. Right down the center. I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful shot. I got that image. It was gorgeous at this angle. That's a beautiful shot right there, especially all the way back. Thank you, Hack. That was good. That was good. Same place, a little bit closer. Just beautiful. Beautiful town. All these towns are beautiful. So we have Scottish or English, and you have Gaelic. That's why there's two different words on these signs. Because the Gaelic pronouncement is almost never the same as the English or Scottish pronouncement. And that's why you see these signs like this. Why didn't you get a Mark? I didn't stop in Mark Inch. Okay? I didn't. It was like I'm on the train. I'm going to the next station. You stop at every station. Here's this one we stopped at. And I took a picture of this for Mini Vinny because these theaters are everywhere in Scotland. And this is, again, what they call pantomime. So, as it was explained, the leading character is always played by a man who is a female character. And when they can, they have the opposing character, usually be the opposing gender, but not always. So this one in particular is a dude playing a female in Sleeping Beauty. Okay, this is where we're at. But it's not drag. It is not the same thing. It is not done for for burlesque purposes, it is done as an art form. So there you go. It is not dirty. It's an art form. Took this picture because of the building, obviously. Look at these churches. Everywhere I went. Whoop. Look at these churches. Look at these churches. Captain Church in Star Trek. Yes. Yes. Captain Church. You're killing me. You guys are killing me. Ugh. Good Lord. Okay. You know, I would love to have one of these at home. Just one of these. So beautiful. And then, you know, these islands out there in the straits, the gulfs, the not, it's not a lock, it's a sea, if you will. I had to take a picture of it. And this here, this church, and the bell, an actual bell. That's kind of Spanish-ish, is what it strikes me as, but what do I know? Burnt Island. Burnt Island. Burnt Island struck me as funny, so I had to take... We tag teamed him there. You did. The Burnt Island sign struck me as funny, so I had to take a picture of it. Here's some more of that art, lattice work that's in every friggin' film. There's another one of those signs. At this point, Scottish is asleep, so I'm just taking pictures on the way back. Then he wanted to go to Penn Island. Oh, I see what you did there. I'm going to ban you. There's no way out, obviously. Here's one of these signs that lights up, and you know, it has all the information that's constantly flowing. I had to take a picture because it was purple. Everything was purple. Purple. There's another cool difference in the way they say things. That up sword's been there for centuries. No, I kind of doubt that. Here's us on the way back. The same bridge that when we went in, only now it's dark. Okay. Ooh, that's a nice picture. That's kind of pretty. This is a random picture I took. I have no clue what's going on here. The train tracks that Scottish said not to stand on, and then these here are textured. They're raised ever so slightly so that blind people know that they're that close to the ledge. They know when they get to that point, there's only a few feet left before they fall off and get hit by a train. Okay, now we're back. We're back at the hotel. We're at the Royal Mount Royal Hotel. All the rooms are itty bitty, but as I've said forever in America, I don't want a huge room. I don't want a million amenities. I want a nice, quiet, clean room with a nice bed in it. And that bed was immaculate. I hit that bed and I sat down on it and I went, oh, this is going to sleep good. Because it was soft. Soft! Yes, I did. I took a big picture of that. This is a picture of me wearing the bag. So the bag went over my chest, and then I wore everything over top of it. You never saw the chest bag. And as I stated before, it was a level of security that I did not need. Yes, I am a tourist. Here's the sink. I don't know why I took a picture of the sink. I really don't. Here is the towel rack that I said you hang a towel on, and it's heated, so it dries the towel. I took a picture of the drain because these drains are different than in the States. In the States, there's a plug There's a screw in. There's either, there's lots of other ways that they do these things, but everywhere I went in Scotland, they were like this. The drain hole was open, and they had a cap that literally would catch the hair to keep it from going down the drain. And it had a little bit of a basin in the bottom, but they all looked like this, and it was above. It really just threw me off as an American, not having seen anything like this before. Here, okay, so we get back to the hotel. We sign up for breakfast because I signed him up for breakfast. I didn't sign myself up for breakfast because I'm like, I don't eat breakfast around here, guys. But Scottish is eating breakfast. I might as well eat breakfast too. So we get back out on the street, and I had my sights on a restaurant, and we looked at it, and we're like, this is not what we want to eat. There's too much fish in this menu. Let's not take the risk. So we went to a place down the street, bar and block. What about second breakfast? Oh God, Sky struck me as a second breakfast dude so bad. I mean, so bad. Of course, he can't eat a whole lot anymore, but he struck me as second breakfast dude so bad. It was ridiculous. And second dinner, and maybe even third lunch. But because he's a fat ass. No, I'm kidding. But Bar and Block was the name of this place. It was serving steaks, and I swore I was going to have a real steak in Scotland. This was the beautiful back bar. We were already seated, and I'm taking this picture from behind it. Here's this on our butcher's block today. Here's this wonderful block that I had to take a picture of, being a butcher. This is the just a beautiful Christmas tree in the background here. I didn't take a picture of the waitress or what have you, but she was clearly a kid. Didn't know how to read English, American English, and Scottish almost had to translate for her. Serving wench. But here's this cow on the wall. And there's the Scottish. I got him. He's on there and he's unmasked. I got you. You still can't see his face. There's the Scottish. He is hiding. I'm gonna stab you, Heck. I'm gonna stab you. But yeah, he's down there playing on his phone because talking to me was getting cumbersome, I suppose. Here is he was taking pictures. I'm fucking with him. So here is the beer I had. I found a bottle cap on the street of Perth, right? And I brought it home. But I saw this name on the menu, and I said I had to have one because it was a Pilsner. And I am a huge Pilsner mark because of my grandmother being a Pilsner mark herself. And for some reason, it does jive with me. It's not a forced thing or something that I do just simply out of her liking Duke beer. I genuinely enjoy a Pilsner. But this was an Italian beer, and it was fucking fantastic. I had two. It was so good. Here's my steak and my chips. We don't call them fries. They're called chips. There is I asked for a side of shrimp. They give you 2 prawns. They're so adorable. They said they're ginormous. I'm like, they're ginormous for Scotland. Can we try ginormous for like Hawaii? Can we try ginormous for the shrimp boat captain down there in the Gulf? Because these things here look like something that I peeled out of my nose. They were fantastic, but they were gone. And Scottish is like, did you get your shrimp? And I says, yeah. Did you not see him? And he goes, nope. So the sauce on there is not A1 sauce. The sauce on there is the house special block sauce. And it was really, really good. Micro steak Micro steak, my good man, that's a pretty good sized steak. It's a pretty good sized steak given the size of these chips here and the soybean. It's a pretty good sized steak. I think it was 14 ounces. I don't know. You and I know for a fact that I eat ginormous steaks. I can put away a 2-pound block of meat, no problem, right? This was not that thing. This was grass-fed, grass-finished Scotland Angus beef. And I start cutting into this steak. And I'm pissed off, or disappointed, or both. Let me explain. Because in the States, everything is grain-fed, grain-finished, American glyphosate corn that is trash. It's fatty. It's flavorful. I'm not arguing with the flavorful. I'm arguing with the fact that it's full of American grain. So I had to tell myself that I'm not eating a piece of Hereford. I'm not eating a piece of Wagyu. I'm not even eating a piece of American Angus. I am eating Scotland steak. Shut up and experience it. It takes you longer to chew because there's no fat tissue in the muscle. So you have to work. And what you would find an eye of fat was like, I kid you not, it was minuscule in the ribeye that I'm having right here. The cap was gorgeous. It was very flavorful and very, very tender, but the eye was a little bit of a pain in the ass. But once I understood what I was eating, I instantly was having a good time because now I've had real Angus beef from Scotland, and I can't say enough good things. It was an experience I want to have time and time again. It's very, very good. This was dessert. This is one of the times I didn't take a picture of Scottish's plate. I don't know why, but this was dessert. It was this cute little banana caramelized banana cheesecake, and it was adorable because you and I who go to the Cheesecake Factory, we're used to having a brick of cheesecake that, that'll stop somebody's heart with sugar. And I'm guilty. I love a good Cheesecake Factory. But this little thing here, oh, it's adorable, isn't it? It's so cute. It was very flavorful, and I ate it just like I ate everything else. I had to stop and consume and feel, and I can still taste it right now. It's so damn. It was good. It was really not a disappointment at all. I'm making this my screensaver, by the way. I haven't got to this thing before. This screensaver, very pretty cut of meat on the neon, and there's a different angle. And then here's this one that was in the window, obviously. All right, so then we start shopping for Mini Vinny's gifts to take home. And I'm looking. This is where I had to get Mini Vinny a Harry Potter object. And we're in this shop looking at candy. I took a picture of the double bus and the phone booth. Yeah. So we're in this shop, and it's a Harry Potter shop, and I'm looking for something for Mini Vinny, and he's looked at everything, and I'm like, man, I can get all this stuff online, but get your hand out of there. And I says, you know what? He's got to have something from Hogwarts. And I'm looking up and down the racks, and there's Slytherin, and there's Hufflepuff, and there's the other thing. And in the window is Gryffindor, and it is a scarf. And Scottish bought me my scarf. This guy needed a scarf. So I went and asked, well, actually it was Scottish who asked if the one in the window was for sale. And she says, Yeah. And she came back with this thing off the mannequin in the shop window in Edinburgh. I bring him back a Gryffindor scarf. And it came off the mannequin in Edinburgh. So there you go. That's for you. And I was happy. I needed to have that. So here we are. And again, this festival going on in the middle of the night is cold as tits. Here is the alcohol that I bought at the Stirling Castle. Tomatin. And it is a really cool scotch. If you ever can get your hands on this particular creature, write it down. Because it's a unique experience. You gotta have at least one. At least one. The monument outside that we saw, it was purple in the last stream. This is the look out the window. It was like seeing Diablo popping up outside while you're trying to eat your breakfast.
Diablo?
Yeah, it's gothic. Here is the spread, and there's the Scottish Tiger. Here is the spread way out here. It is a buffet style breakfast. You get what you want, get out of the way.
Ooh.
Here is the juice. I got an ad break coming in a minute. Here is this juice. It is pressed. It is not mixed. It is pressed from different fruits or vegetables, and then it is added just a little enough of water to make it flavorful. And with its orange juice, but the multivitamin threw me off. I had to ask what the heck that was. And there was a red berry. Red berry, you are distracting. Go away. I'm trying to get through this so everybody can go home. I will call you when it's your turn. There's a juice called red berry. And I didn't know what a red berry was, and Scottish had to explain it to me that it's a local thing, and it tastes kind of like cough syrup. But it's fresh, and I wasn't mad. Had to have some tea with some cream in it. All right, we'll come back from the ad break, and we'll talk about the end of the tour, the last little bit before I headed home. The big pop you're going to get at Edinburgh Castle. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. This one hurts. It's a fun ride, and then it hurts. So we'll have some fun. One more ad break, I hope, and we're going to get this over with. I got to get something anyway. Be right back. Tomatin. Not tomatin, tomatin. 40 seconds. I will have one more shot of Dalmore when we finish this stream. Because it's due. It is a sign of respect, absolutely, to cap things off the right way. All right, 10 seconds. All right, welcome back. I'm glad you guys are still here. I got more viewers now than I've had in forever, and I'm loving every second of it. Okay, I went to the other room because I had to get a prop for the big moment, and I'm gonna bring Mini Vinny in for one of these, and I want to share this stuff with you. So here's what happened: we get up, we have breakfast, we check out, we have our. Oh, no, sorry, we haven't checked out yet. We hit the street, we rush down, we're right back where we started. All right, the whole journey started right here at this spot. And it's coming down snow like a mother, all right? And I got to keep an eye on Scottish because, again, he's like 6,845 years old. And I have to keep an eye on the man because it's slippy and slidey all over the place. We head up the road. This is the angle. When I get to the end of this street is where I want to point out something. Here's the angle of the castle. You see up there in the distance, out here, that the snow is just coming down in sheets, baby. All right, so right here in this spot, in this corner, is where the cannon went off. This is where we saw the cannon, or heard the cannon fire go off in the previous stream. At this very spot. And then here's this stairwell going up. Scotty said that up that building there is where he had stayed. But this is the shot up. We're going up the dragon tail. Okay. So again, everything is built on a kragen. The crags on the outside and the dragon tail. All right. So the beautiful picturesque lights and decorations. There we go, the decoration weight. And these beautiful doors, and you're heading up the Royal Mile is where you're going. Even the graffiti was good to look at. Everything was ornate. No matter where you went, it was all designed well. And the shops, as you're heading up here, again, ground level, all business, everything above that, residential, and everywhere you went, it was like going to fucking Harry Potter's. I'm not even kidding. It was beautiful. I'm trying to take, okay, so it's a little blurry because I'm trying to take pictures, so I got to lift my hood, take the picture, pull the hood back down because the snow is just blasting you in the face. Here's a coffee house. Here's another shot. And like I said, no matter what you looked at, it was so beautiful. And someone designed this thing to do this. It was self-defense, but it was also, this long... Could you imagine how this looked back in the day when it was new? I mean, good Lord. Just sweeping, towering houses for people who lived out in the flats, Here's this wonderful little place, the Milkman. I liked the way that building looked, so I had to take a picture at it. These all these closes, wherever you can look, these little dark alleys. The book I'm reading that Scottish gave me, talks about how when you go back here, you need to just dive off into these things and see where life takes you, because there's some really cool stuff down these back alleys. Here's this Gothic style ahead of us, and this is the Royal Mile. And as you can see, everyone's in the street, everyone's walking, because you really can't tell where the hell the road's at anymore. These glorious statues, this church that they talk about, you can Google it yourself. They talk about this, how great this church is. I wish I'd been able to see it when it was, wasn't beating me in the head with snow. Just beautiful, beautiful. No matter where you looked, even though it's covered in snow, man, I could do this for days. I never get tired of looking at it. The unicorn on the top of this here statue, I had to take a picture of that. Look at this church. You feel like you're like, okay, we're gonna go in here. There's gonna be a boss. because this guy's pissed off. Wherever he's from, this guy's pissed off. And this is where the boss is going to be. It looks serious. The snow only amplifies it because you got this white here, the black over here. It's gorgeous. And you're looking down the street towards the castle. You're not even close yet, and it's like wall to wall humanity. And I couldn't imagine in the old days when it was still horse and buggy. I couldn't even imagine how you could feel. Look at this friggin' church. There's a church every 2 feet. Again, Gothic, sweeping Gothic style. I love the angles. I love the points. And these doorways. Good God. All right, here's the castle. And it's covered in snow and it's beaten down on us, but it's still the most beautiful thing. You just imagine this thing, is the fortress. This is where the important people are at. This is where the army is. And the old tune, it's a World Heritage Site. And man, I was blessed to have my feet in it. And I am glad that we took the time to walk up the hill to see it in person. I say that now because I'm going to tell you about the story when we get to the bottom of the hill. Here we are, leading up to the castle. It's massive. It's ornate. It's gorgeous. And I'm a nerd. So the nerd is just really, really... He's talking. We're marching up through the snow. He's talking, and I'm just absorbing. And it literally was like when you play a video game and you got all the bullet points that pop up. When you hit the X button, and your bullet points pop up of this thing and that thing, other thing. He was right there doing that the entire time, and just such a thrill to have him right there telling me what I was looking at. So I didn't know what the hell, just wasn't just an object, it had meaning, and he knew what the meaning was. But as I get closer to the castle, here's these, they light these on fire, okay, these torches. And I would love to see these things lit. I bet you they're just cool as hell. And then there's hold on, there's William Wallace on one side, and there's Robert the Bruce on the other. And the sword and the crown and the beard, you have to pay attention to who you're looking at. There you go. That would be Robert the Bruce. The beard. Yep, and that's Vinny having a good time in the snow in front of the castle. And William Wallace. There you go. So, anyway, we're at where we're at. And there's my wonderful backpack that I couldn't keep on me at the time because it was getting covered in friggin' snow. Again, wonderful statue, Field Marshal, Duke of York. But yeah, all these. Hold on, we're almost there. Yeah, come here. I'm gonna need you. Here's this Celtic cross, the Scottish and Norse, and the angry tiger. These monuments were everywhere, and they were wondrous. Here's the backside picture of that church. As we're going back in the other direction, we're going down the hill, and this is the backside of the houses as we were going back into town. It was just so cool to be part of this. Especially, I got to see Scotland at every angle. I got to see it at nighttime, at daytime, in the mild weather, in the snow, in the rain. I experienced everything Scotland could throw at me, including hardship, and we're getting there. All right, so let's dial back just a second. Minnie Vinny, I want you to hold this in front of the camera. I have kept this in my refrigerator since I got back from Scotland. It is in a bag. I'm trying not to cry. But these are the gloves that I wore that day that Scottish bought me. And hold it straight. Nope, don't spill that. I have kept it in the refrigerator for this very moment, for this very stream. Vincent Drake, put your hands in that. Put your hand in that. Put your hand in it. That is Scottish water. I brought the boy back water from Scotland. I had those gloves on in that snow. That is Scottish water. Congratulations. There you go. What do you think? This is the way the Scottish people think. It's the small things. It doesn't cost money. It doesn't have materialistic value. I thought of Vincent in the very moment I took these gloves off and realized they were wet. I instantly put them down in a bag and I kept them wet in the fridge for a month so that you could touch Scottish water. Scottish snow. So there you are, kid. That's why I love you. That's why I love you. So I'm going to wash these now, but it's like being in Scotland all over again. It's just as cold as they were that moment that I was in the snow. They got a little smell from the refrigerator, but they'll be fine. They'll wash out. But yeah, Scottish bought me these. Isn't it pretty? And they got little, no, they don't. Never mind. But yeah. We're going to wash those. And then, but you take it back to the kitchen, or you take it to your mother and tell her what it is. Okay? Don't spill it. All right. I kept it together. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about what happens immediately after. So, as I stated in the previous streams, that I'm a heel, and this is where we've had the big pop, right? We've been to Loch Ness, and we've put our hands in the water. And we've been to Castle Stirling and seen the hometown of Scottish Tiger's little boy. We've been to Edinburgh, and we've got covered in snow, and we watched Scottish Tiger slip and fall and bust his ass on the concrete. I tried to save him, but he did. He slipped and fell and busted his ass. But in his defense, it was really, really slippery. So quit that.
Okay.
So we go down and we stop at the bus stop. We stop at the bus stop, and he looks at me and he goes, "Something's wrong. The bus should have been here by now." So we march up the hill and realize that all the buses have out of service. And he looks at me and he goes, "We're not getting a bus. We got to get down this way and try to find a tram." So we marched down Princess Street for like the 16th time. And I'm leading the way because he's dragging his suitcases. And it's snowy. And it's cold. It's wet. And we get on the tram. This is where I got talking to an old Scotsman about the snow and the grit and all that. Um, we get on the tram. I pay the bits to get us up the road. We get to the airport, but the tram, unlike the bus, the tram stops and stops and stops and stops and stops. The bus was like going to the airport, right? We get to the airport, and we thought that the planes would be delayed given the weather. I march up. I wait my turn, and Scottish Tiger is in the background, keeping an eye on me. And we get, you did. You found a pretty Chinese lady to sit and talk to. Yes, you did, sir. I was aware of that. I wasn't going to mention that part. So we get in there, and I give him my passport and my ticket, and she says, "I'm sorry, but we can't board you. Your plane is already boarding. You're too late." And I'm like, "Lady, it's not my fault. It's Edinburgh. I couldn't be here 6 hours ago, right? To be in the airport." So I come back to Scottish Tiger, and I'm like, "Brother, we've missed my flight, and they won't help me. I mean, I'm stranded in Scotland, which is not a terrible thing, hindsight being what it is. I probably just should have threw my hands up and went, at this point, I don't have a visa, so you people can send me home on your own money, right? Because, what's a job? And so I fight, and I scratch, and I use my ex-wife her credit card to book me a flight home, because my ticket will not transfer. She cannot help me. I am toast. I didn't panic, not one time. I did not get angry, not one time. I did not get disheartened or discouraged one time. You want to know why? Because Scotland changed everything about who I am. Previous Vinny would have been irate, loud, vicious. I looked at Scottish, started looking for answers. Wasn't getting answers here, got answers from my ex-wife. We did the thing. We got me a plane ride home. I stood there with Scottish, and we talked back and forth a little bit, and then I sent him on his way because he needed to meet his train ride home and get back to his mom, and that's his job. And he hated leaving me, but, I said, "Brother, we're at where we're at. Life is good." I cannot express to you people enough how vastly different Scotland made me internally. And I get my first plane ticket. I go through security. I get to the other side, and would you believe that they canceled that flight? So now they do owe me, because I paid money to get home. I paid money the first time, but that ticket was too cheap. They don't care about that. Can't help you. I'm on the hook for $3,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on the hook for $3,000 to get home to see my kids. That's the only thing that I cared about. I don't care about the fact that I'm not going to sleep, or that I don't have any more clothes to change into, or I don't know how much more money I'm going to have on hand, or the fact that I haven't a clue if I'm going to get a chance to shower again in the next 3 days. So I get back out of security, get my bag, because that's got my kilt in it and my Dalmore, and I get back to the ticket booth, and the guy's like, this is an old Scotsman, all right? And I said, "Sir, what can you do for me?" And he goes, "How badly do you need to get home?" And I said, "I need to get home like today." And he says, Well, let me make some phone calls. And he makes some phone calls, comes back, he says, listen, there's a flight leaving in the morning. It's going from here to New York, right around New Jersey. And I said, I don't care where it stops. Get me to Cincinnati where my vehicle is so I can get home. He's like, fine. So he gets the ticket transferred, gives me my new tickets. He shows me that it doesn't leave until 9 o'clock the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the airport on the day that I was there. It is now going to be, I think, noon. Now it's going to be 9 o'clock in the morning the following day before I can get out of Scotland. I got no place to go. I can't sleep. I can't do nothing. So I get a meal. I go wandering around. Spent a lot of time in the bathroom, to be honest with you, because it was quiet. But I was marching my bag up and down the walkway, and I was sitting in the restaurant that stayed open the entire time because it was coffee, and so it was open the entire time. People just fell out wherever they could fall out, sleeping, because they were all stuck. And I felt bad for sitting in one place too long because it's, yeah, those square toilets were something else. But I got up on a bar stool and I got my shoes unlaced and I put my head down, I covered everything up and kept my security real tight. And I kept my eyes closed for a while. And then when I got tired of sitting still, I'd get up and move for a bit. And then I would go and I'd, get another drink and I'd sit down and you doze off for a minute. And then, but I never really got to sleep. I just rested my eyes, rested my body. And then when the lights came on again in the morning and things started bustling again and I got through security and nobody gave me any grief. Got on the plane and I was in the wrong seat. I was in the wrong seat because I do have dyslexia. It is a light dyslexia, and I looked at the car. I looked at the ticket, and I knew what seat I was in. I was in 39, and I get down to 36, and I flipped it in my head. No matter how many times I looked at that ticket, I had flipped it in my head, and I could not get that out of my head. So there's a guy in 36F. And I'm like, dude, this is my seat. And he's like, this is my seat. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll just sit right here. So I sit down next to him and I start to drift off to sleep because I'm exhausted. Lady comes up to me, she's like, sir, you're in my seat. And I'm like, this guy's in my seat. And I finally get back in my bag, get my ticket out, and I'm like, oh God, guys. And out loud for the God everybody, I go, look, I haven't slept for 2 days. This is the third flight I've tried to be on. I have dyslexia. I apologize. I go and get in my seat. I had to move people out of the way because it was late in the loading processes at this point. And I get in my seat and instantly just like, bam, buckle in, cover up, leave me alone. And I never really got to sleep, but I drifted off just enough. And then when I rested enough, and I wasn't eating nothing off this flight whatsoever. And I was already tired of Americans at this point. But I'm still in the British Airways, right? And now this was a United flight. So I get my rest. And I'm looking at these screens that they give you, and that's where I'm going. I've always told people for 25 years that I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey, and I've never even been to Jersey. By God, I landed in Newark, and I got to see Jersey City. If you can't tell me this wasn't meant to happen, you cannot look me in the face and tell me that this wasn't meant to happen. The Scottish people have endured hardship their entire existence. That's why they are as hardy a people as they are. And every single thing that happened, it was given to me in Scotland. The cleansing of my energy. Every gift of everything that I wanted while I was on the ground came to me. And then I had to endure the hardship. And I took it on the chin. And I put it on my shoulders. And I marched my ass home to my kids. Because that was what was important. And after I landed in Newark, I endured no more hardship, but I got to experience more culture than I've ever seen in my whole life. Whether it was in Edinburgh or it was anywhere else in Scotland, when I got to Newark, New Jersey, I got to experience an actual Native American from New York. I got to experience the people of New York. I didn't hear anybody from Jersey. I didn't. I was listening to the accent and everything. I got to experience New Yorkers. I got to experience the various cultures. Oh, the Hasidic Jews with the curls and the hats and the black, you know, a one step down from Islam, Hasidic Jews, right? And I got to experience all that culture. And I took it all in. I was meant to experience this, okay? So from Newark, New Jersey, back to Cincinnati, I was sick and tired of Americans. I was fed up with Americans. I got an ad break coming in a minute. I was fed up with Americans because they were told 16,000 times, please do not stick anything above the overhead luggage compartments except for wheeled wheeled baggage only. And here's these stupid Americans stuffing their bags and their purses and everything else in here. Like, can you not pay attention for 30 seconds to what you're being told and just follow instructions and move on with your life? You got to be a pain in the ass for everybody else. And I was fed up with Americans the second I landed in New York. But I met a couple there in line to get on the plane, clearly rich people, but I felt I can get back to that in a minute. Let's do the ad break. But there's a reason why I took this picture also of the screen in the back of the seat. And you see what I'm wearing on my shirt? I'm going to explain to you why these two things are very, very meaningful. But of course, the Mothman's right here. And I'm going to explain that too. We're coming down. We're going to land, and we're going to get back in Cincinnati, and we're going to have this conversation about getting home. One more ad break, and then we're taking this to the big house. We're going to be done with Scotland round 1. I'm going back to Scotland. That is for certain. But yeah, let's get this ad break over with, and we will finish this story. So Scottish, am I okay? Am I okay, buddy? He's falling asleep on me. Okay. This is a very, very warm story indeed. It really is. But I have to point out that, and when I tell this to people who aren't followers of mine, I say it the same way every time. I was blessed by Scotland. I was embraced by the magic, and I was shown what it means to be Scottish. Not a Scot. I'll never be a Scot, unfortunately, but to be Scottish. I have shown what it's like to be Scottish, and I am forever grateful. And it is not a lesson that I will ever forget. I will never put that one down. That one stays in my hand forever. Okay, we're back. Let's get this story on the road. So, I met this rich couple, and they were, the tall, pretty, thin, they were clearly rich people. And I was talking about, here's what it was. The guy said, because we got in line, and, everywhere else in the world, when you read your ticket, your group number, you got to get in line by that group number, right? Well, this was more of a dog and pony show group number. You just get in line because we're going to a bus that's going to take you out to the tarmac and going to let you get on the plane from the tarmac, right? And like you're Indiana Jones going to Abu Dhabi. And the girl says to the guy, I guess the numbers are fake, the group numbers are fake. And the guy goes, just like everything else in America, this is fake, that is fake, the food's fake, everything's fake. And I said, oh, so you kids are just now figuring that out. I said, I've known this since 9/11. And we got to talking, back and forth. And I was talking about the whole EMF waves and the 5G that was oppressing it pushed in on me. And I went from just fine, and this wasn't exhaustion. It was not exhaustion. It was pushing in on me from every angle. And once it hit me, like an hour into being in New York, I was like, ugh. It permeates your entire being. It's an energy that feeds into your body, and I didn't have any of that going on in Scotland. So, anyhow, we get on that plane, deal with the white people, and there's this. I'm sitting next to a guy who left his frickin' laptop at the terminal, and they gotta go get it and bring it back to him. So he's dragging this whole episode out. And then I have a real problem with people who smack their mouth when they're eating. I'm trying to break many of this crap. Well, there's this posh-toon piece of garbage sitting behind me eating chocolates like he's eating bonbons. Some rich oil tycoon from a sand desert camel drinking mother. I was so mad at this dude. I wanted to punch him in the mouth so bad. And I'm like, you know what? You're at where you're at, brother. You're headed home. Just endure. So I get in the flight, and I'm looking at the screen. Guys, boys and girls, I wish I had a line I could draw for you. Because I looked out the window trying to find it, and I could not find it. But the line from Newark, New Jersey to Cincinnati flew directly over top of my hometown. My grandmother bought me this shirt. Never could wear it because I was too fat. Lost all that weight. Fits great. Listen to me. Every part of this journey was detrimentally important. I flew over my hometown in the midst of heartache, of stress, of worry. You can't tell me that it wasn't meant to be. Okay? Which is why I say that $3,000 worth every penny. The Mothman at Point Pleasant. My mom, 2 weeks prior to the Silver Bridge falling at Point Pleasant, where we get the Mothman legend that put me here on this earth to fly over top of my hometown. And you're trying to tell me it wasn't meant to be. I was meant to experience all of this. And I did so happily. At not one point did I get upset. I was tired. But I wasn't upset. So I land in Cincinnati. I catch up with the rich people looking for our baggage. And we get to talking about my journey, and they're like, dude, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, it cost me $3,000 to get home, and I wouldn't change a thing. And the guy actually reached out when he got his bags. He reached out and shook my hand. He goes, sir, it was a pleasure meeting you. He goes, it's a pretty good lesson of no matter how hard it is, that everything has value. Everything's a lesson. So I enjoyed that particular part of my journey. But then I get back to my vehicle and I throw everything in, and I'm amped now because now I'm back in control. I got my hands on the steering wheel. I got energy again. I'm going home. I got 2.5 hours to see my kids. Let's rock. So I get up the road and I'm excited, and I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I know I may have turned on music. I was amped up. About an hour in, I start to fade out, and I'm not panicking, but I'm worried. And I start talking to my mom, and I was like, I'm gonna have to call you because, man, it's getting close. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it home. I didn't fade out enough, but I started to, and then Mike King calls me, the very guy that was gonna put me in Edinburgh for Rikishi's trip. He calls me and he says, I heard you're having a hard time getting home. I thought I'd check in on you, make sure you're okay. That man talked to me until I got within 5 minutes of the house. And, whatever time it was late. And he talked to me and made sure that I got home. And we talked about Edinburgh and how beautiful it was. We talked about, a little bit about wrestling. But we talked mostly about Scotland. And everything in this journey was valued. It all had meaning. Every bit of it meant something. So I get home. Here is me trying to catch. I think this was in New York, actually. A really interesting reflection in the snow of lightning running down these tributaries. This is New Jersey. I took some pictures of New Jersey because I wanted to be able to say at least I got some shots of Jersey. Okay? This beautiful bridge right here. And then I get home, and my little boy, he latches on to me, and he's just sobbing, right? I've never seen this boy cry like this. And it was so wonderful to put my hands on his head and kiss his head, because I fought for 2 days nonstop to get back to hug that kid and to hug this little girl. And I start pulling things out of the bag. I'm like, Scottish said, here, take this. And I give Sissy her Dalmatian, and she's loving on this Dalmatian. And she's happy to see Dada. And then, Vincent, here's your scarf. And, oh, by the way, here's this wild haggis that Scottish found out of the blue. Where that magic thing came from, I don't know. Because we were in the middle of selling me some tartan gear, and here's this haggis, this wild haggis. And, I just, here, Scottish said, here, take this. Here's this for you. This is for you. And go.
Nessie, the most famous tale of monsters and mayhem ever.
Let him tell the story.
The Diminy Vinny, enjoy your new book from Scottish Tiger, November 2024.
He personalized this book for you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go ahead. All right. Is there anything else in the book, or is that was just front cover? Okay.
Long millions of years ago, the northernmost part of Scotland was not part of Scotland, but there came a time when it crossed the sea and crashed into the rest. The prehistoric sea monsters all rushed to escape. Except, the story goes, for one named Nessie. She was always a dreamy sort of monster. Luckily, when the two parts collided, they left a large gap. This is called Loch Ness, or Loch the Biest.
He does.
Which is Gaelic for the Lake of the Monsters.
So, that was me having him read some of that book real quick for you to witness. And then I put Sissy to bed, and I changed clothes, and I set Benny down on his bed, and I'm like, all right, read me this book. And I passed out. And they end up throwing me out and putting me in my bed. But I would not change a single moment of that trip. Not one time. Not one thing. It was the most magical experience of my life. And everything was a lesson. Slow down. Enjoy your life. And be present. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. Enjoy yourself. Respect those who came before you. Embrace culture. Good culture. And shoulder your burdens with dignity. And you do so not because you enjoy it, but because it provides you with strength. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, after all. Pick the Scottish tiger up out of the snow. It's not every day an American gets to pick up a Scot out of the snow. Oh my God. So yeah, it was everything that I would ever have dreamt of and more. And that's why I realize I have to go back. And I have to get there, and I have to stay. I've had a very nomadic lifestyle. I've moved, 10 times in my lifetime. I've lived in 7 different states. And I'm awake to the fact that this environment is unhealthy. Not just for me, but for my family. So I need to go where my family can have a chance to do something other than be an indentured slave to a system that's broken, in an environment that's poisoned, in a world that is making them less and less human. And go somewhere like Scotland. So, let me pour a drink. From Scotland, for Scotland. This is a toast not only to the Scottish tiger, not only to the waters of Loch Ness, not only to the distillery of the Dalmore, but to the spirit of the people that embody the country of Scotland. I want to thank you. And you at home that sat and watched these streams and let me share with you my amazing journey. This is for you. Cheers. That's good stuff. All right, boys and girls. I'm a slobbery mess. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sitting with me. Let me tell you how great of an experience I had. And I'm blessed by your presence. And I'm going to end it like I end all my streams. Be good to yourself, be good to each other. And remember that no matter how bad life gets, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're important. And you matter. And you always have a loving family here at the mob. So you guys go forth and do good things. I'll see you next time. Arrivederci!